Just already.
Miss Chinnery's birthday, but she's not here today. So when she comes back tomorrow, if you guys will tell her happy birthday. And just reviewing the norms and protocols, thank you for being on time. Please no sidebar conversations. If you have any questions, place it on our parking lot if I don't address it. And participate, collaborate, no grading papers, please. And close your laptops. All right. So progress reports will go home next Thursday. So we will need all grades in the grade book by Monday so they can be printed and sent out. Our school-wide discipline plan. ISS has been closed for the last week. So Ms. Vaughn is going to process referrals by Friday and start getting students in ISS by Monday, hopefully. Please, just in general, stand at your door in the morning. We're noticing that a lot of teachers are sitting at their computers or doing other things, but please stand at the door to greet students in the morning. We need to make sure that we are updating our website every week, no later than Monday evening. Please have your websites updated. And pride points. Ms. Smith says that she's not getting everyone's pride points. So do we need additional reminders? How do you guys feel about the Google Doc?
I love it.
Love it? Okay.
Well, does it update every day? Like if I go in today and put today, and I go back tomorrow and put some, I mean, does it?
No, you would have to, yes, the best thing would be is to wait until Thursday evening. And she's going to send it out every Wednesday, I'm sorry. She's going to send it out every Wednesday. So on Wednesday evening is when you will update it, or no later than Thursday morning. All right? And remember, it's 25 points per day. And then at the end, you will have to write your total. All right, looking ahead, the fourth quarter starts March 16th. Our combined curriculum meeting will be March 17th. Progress reports go home on the 19th. IB Learning Professional Development is the 19th. We have a faculty meeting on the 30th of this month. So it won't be the first week of April. It will be the 30th. Professional Learning E-Class is April 2nd, and the last day of school for students is
May 21st.
May 21st. I don't know. Yes.
I don't know if you can make an announcement, but I've had to tell several students that we are in fact in school tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
So if you get an opportunity.
Okay. And you guys just remind your students that we do have school tomorrow. It's a makeup day. Now, we are having Saturday school beginning this Thursday. I'm sorry, this Saturday. And we sent out the papers. Of course, we're not getting as many back as we would like to, so we have extended it to other students who are struggling. So I've already had several teachers who are contacting parents and putting that offer out there. So if you guys don't mind, we're going to try to end a little early today so we can start making some phone calls and just getting confirmations. You can fill out the form yourself for the parent and just tell the parent we'll send a confirmation note home. Okay? But we will need the homeroom teacher name and the parent's contact information as well as an emergency. And in the box at the bottom it says, will the child be allowed to walk home? So just ask the parent if they're going to be a car rider or a walker and circle yes or no. And I'll need to get these papers at least by tomorrow morning so I can have the rosters ready and I'll give you guys the confirmation letters to send to the parents. Any questions about this?
Yeah, the Saturday school, you said it's for students who are struggling academically?
Originally, we started with students who were close to 800. So between 745 and 810, our bubble kids. But we're not getting as many responses. So we're going to extend it to other students.
And then the students who come in, is the teacher who recommends them or whatever for Saturday school, is that you're supposed to provide the work?
No. The only thing we need you guys to do is send us some students. And we're going to work hard in those 4 days to do as much as we can to prepare the students for the Georgia milestone.
That's nice.
Yes.
So you're looking for students who are in the 800s?
Just students, right now, we're looking for students who are struggling. Students who, if we took the interim, so students who scored low on the interims, those would be those students that, hey, I need to send a letter home to them. But we need to contact parents because Saturday school starts Saturday. If they can't make the first day, that's fine. We'll take them the second Saturday. But we want to get as many students as we can. And we have spots for 66 graders.
Wow.
So that's 10% of our students.
Do you know how many you already have?
We only have about 15.
15? Because they were, it seems like they were already picked.
Well, we did select some students, but we have not gotten enough responses.
Okay.
So we're trying to extend it out to some students.
I think it wasn't publicized well enough.
Yeah.
Because I think it was yesterday when it came out, I remember more, the day, was it, did somebody send it? 2 days ago.
Yeah.
And we are aware that I did send out a robocall yesterday as well as this morning, reminding parents and telling them to look for these letters. But again, this is Saturday school. So I met with 2 parents yesterday, and the students got the papers, but they didn't give it to their parents.
Right.
So even if we sent that out a month ago, I mean, how many students want to come to school on Saturday? So we'll probably have the same possible situation.
Would you be willing to send out attendance? Because as we talked in the hall a little bit, some of my parents are requesting some form of incentive to, I guess, encourage the students to do well during this, which I'd be willing to give them some form of like a homework pass or a free quiz grade or something along that line.
And I will send out an attendance list. And again, we want to use this as an opportunity to enrich our students. So if we have to provide some type of incentive in the classroom, if you guys say, well, did you see their name on the list? Here's a homework pass or anything to motivate them to keep going, because this will be 4 hours of instruction.
For how many Saturdays?
Additional hours for 4 Saturdays.
Okay. And starting this Saturday?
Yes, starting this Saturday. It is language arts, math, and science.
The reason why I have originally asked about the classroom, the teachers sending their work is because, like, if I have a kid who's struggling, and they did some work inside of the school, I could use that to replace stuff that they're doing, that they've done that's not properly done, and that way to help their grade.
And I completely agree. I did submit that proposal to Mr. Barber, but this is being funded through Title I, so we have to direct it in ways that they will approve. And Title I will not approve of us doing a grade recovery. But again, that's up to you. Ms. Radford is going to be working with us as well as Ms. Miller. So the work that they're going to be doing, we can very well give it to you, and you use it how you see fit.
But you also be creative, though. You know what I mean?
Well, we certainly can, but like she said, once the student leaves with us, it's up to you and your discretion how you may want to use the work that they're completing with us in your classrooms.
If she's focused on second quarter,
Second quarter AKF.
Second semester AKF, yeah. So it would be potentially still material in the grade book.
So, well, what I'm really asking, let's say I got a couple of my students to come, which I don't know, and I sent their work.
Well, you can send. You can send their work. We can send you their work, but you can't send us their work.
It has to be controlled.
But great question.
So what are you guys covering?
We've identified 4 AKS from the top weighted sections of the Georgia milestone. And they are current AKS that we're working on now. Any other questions?
So are you guys gonna communicate that with the teachers, like what you're covering and so forth, so we can know what to expect?
I can send you the list of AKS that we're going to cover. I'll send that out. Anything else? All right. So I have some additional forms if you guys would like to grab a couple on your way out and try to get more students this evening, the remaining of the time we have left, because we want to make this as successful as we possibly can. Yes.
Do you have an electronic copy?
I will email an electronic copy. All right. So, top 20 teachers. I want you guys to just look at this picture and think about, how do you think this teacher is feeling and why? Yes. Ignored? Why do you think she's ignored?
Probably because she was trying to teach all of her students seem to be occupied with other things, things that they would do rather than what she was probably asking them to do.
Okay. Anyone else?
Frustrated.
Frustrated? Why would you say she's frustrated?
It doesn't seem like she's getting the desired result of whatever it is she's trying to get. I think that can be frustrating.
Yeah, she looks like she's thinking, like, what can I do?
Okay, so she's trying to figure out her next move. Okay. So what do you guys think will be her next step? We know that she's frustrated. What do you think will be her next step?
Can I reorganize her lessons?
Okay.
Try to yeah.
Okay. Anyone else? What do you think will be her immediate reaction?
Get rid of makeup.
Makeup plans.
Yeah.
Do some redirection.
Okay. So take some of the items from the student. All right.
Or Yale.
So our topic for today is knowing or being aware of what gets activated in them, or being aware of what is activated in yourself. The scenario that was presented in the book is, while grading the student's test, the teacher gets frustrated due to the students not passing the test. As she continued, her anger increased due to most of her students not passing. Have you guys ever felt that way? I know I have. The teacher already frustrated asked the students, what in the world happened on this test yesterday? So, based on her reaction, we know that she's probably, what are some adjectives that can describe her reaction and how she's probably feeling? Angry, frustrated, defeated. Okay. Activating. So when things like that happen, it starts to activate something in us as teachers. And it can start to trigger a feeling of not feeling good enough, that you're not good enough. And some of the things that can cause you to not feel like you're good enough is poor test results. Students don't work hard enough. They don't care, or we think they don't care. Parents are not being supportive. Students failed because I'm not a good teacher, or feeling like someone will find out. Well, if our students aren't performing, then we're going to have administration come in and asking us why. So has anyone ever had this happen or felt this way? These are some things you experience. Never?
Oh, yes.
All the time? Okay. So, those actions can cause you or invite a below the line invitation. So when those things happen, you slowly begin to seep below the line. And these are some feelings that you may have. Feelings of helplessness or anger, having a negative attitude, classroom disruptions, poor test scores, students are called to leave the classroom, negative parental comments, other teachers succeed and receive awards. These are only invitations. We choose to accept it or turn down. So these are some things that can cause us to head below the line. And I know myself as a teacher, I've had all of these feelings. Teacher indicators when they go below the line. Most of the time when we go below the line, you receive a hit, like your student's doing bad on a test, or You see teachers who are performing being recognized and you're not, and it's like, well, I'm working just as hard. And we immediately react. So you receive the blow and you immediately react. And some of the reactions can be being sarcastic, threatening punishments for students, yelling, making negative judgments, blaming others, or just shutting down. But these reactions, it only make things worse. So a negative and a negative is not going to produce a positive. So we have to work on producing positive. What's that?
You're multiplying or dividing it well.
In that world, you're right. So any questions about this so far, or comments? Does this relate to anyone?
Yes.
Well, you have the power to make the choice. In the heat of the moment, we tend to react with no time to collect ourselves. Therefore, the responses tend to lack clarity, good judgment, and effectiveness. And I know even outside of school, I experience this dealing with my husband. He'll do something, and I'm like, what? And I just immediately react. But when I sit down and think about it, it's like, okay, well, I didn't have to react that way, or I could have did something different. Because it didn't produce the response that I wanted to produce. It caused him to shut down, and then we're not talking for a few days. So, what do? These are only invitations. We have to choose to accept or turn it down. So negative actions are only invitations to invite us to go below the line. But we as adults and as educators, as parents, spouses, we have to make the choice to stay above the line. And this chapter talked about or gave methods of how we can stay above the line, or how we can work better with taking a hit. How can we survive these difficult situations? So I'm going to just give you guys a chance to read this to yourself. Well, I can model it, and I know with myself, students do things all the time that if I'm teaching, they're talking or playing around, and sometimes they'll say, well, what do you do to get their attention? I just pause and look at them. And that immediately, oh, okay, Ms. Howard, gets them to do what they're supposed to do. Instead of me yelling at them or saying, why are you not doing this? I just pause. And it's a way for me to reflect and allow myself to calm down and say, okay, don't just go off on the student. I'm just going to pause. And that tends to work. So, top 20 teachers, when you take that hit, you pause, you think about it, you choose a reaction, and then you respond. So these are the 4 steps that you can take. The hit comes, you pause, you think, choose a reaction, and then you respond. And you guys can write this down. All right, so this is, instead of the teaching saying, well, what happened to your scores yesterday? And what did you weren't studying, why you didn't pass the test? It says the teacher collected herself, she did a top 20 breather, and she starts over. The teacher asks the students, help me understand what happened yesterday. So instead of saying, well, why you guys didn't pass the test? Help me understand what you didn't understand about the test. Tell me what part of the test you were confused about and did not understand. So how do you guys think the students will respond to this? Okay. So it's forcing the students to reflect? Do you think the students will If a teacher gets their test scores and then say, Ruth, help me understand what you didn't do or what you didn't understand on the test, how do you think the student is going to respond? Or how do you think the student is going to feel?
Like you understand.
Like you care about them. And when students know that you care about them, I will say 90% of the time, they will produce for you. Now, they're still going to get off track and be kids, but if they know that you care, they're going to produce, or they're going to try to produce. Change. We cannot change and remain above the line. If we are unaware, we are below the line. Or if we do not want to realize we are below the line. So we recognize that even if you're at the top of your game and everything is going fine, we still have to work on ourselves. And you have to recognize when things are happening that may cause you to start slipping into those negative feelings and negative responses. And sometimes we just have to pause, think, and choose a response. So, all of you have index cards, and on the front of your cards, I want you to answer the first 3 questions. I'm going to give you 1 minute per question. On the front of your cards, answer the first 3 questions.
Take that.
And the timer has started.
Oh my God.
And if you have the book, the invitations are on page 113. So those are the things that will cause you to go below the line. Your indicators were classroom disruption happens, poor test scores, student apathy shows students are called out of the class for other disruptions. So indicators are just any actions that will cause you to go below the line. Thank you, Ms. Ansley, for being attentive and engaged.
You're welcome.
Yes, just the front. So it looks like everyone is just about finished. Alright, so what invitations do you receive and accept as a teacher? So
I put
nothing happened.
student apathy and rude parents.
Okay. So those are some things that
Those are
will
the few things that really.
those are the 2 things that will invite you to go below the line. Okay, anyone else? So nothing else happens that make you go below the line? Yes.
Kids who mouth back.
Kids who talk back. I know that's a big thing for me. Yes. Okay. What are your indicators when you go below the line? So how do you know when you're about to go below the line? Those are some things that can cause you to go below the line. But how do you know when you are about to reach that point? Sarcasm.
Blood pressure.
Just
Okay.
reacting.
Yeah.
Frustrated. Feel
Frustrated.
tired. You feel exhausted.
Snappy.
Disappointed.
So is there a connection between the indicators and you thinking you're not good enough? And so do we often feel like, well, maybe it's me?
Yes. I think that's, sometimes that's,
I used to.
that's, I think that's.
I don't anymore.
If we're reflecting
I don't take
about
it personally,
ourselves,
either.
you almost have to.
That is you. And I know sometimes, especially with teaching and even being here, a lot of teachers they're excellent teachers, and you wake up every day wanting to come and make a difference. But it causes you to feel like maybe it is me, and maybe I need to step away from teaching altogether.
Yeah.
And that's some of the things that we want to avoid, because all of us we started this profession for a reason. And we just have to get back to that and try to find methods and strategies that can keep us above the line. So, turn over to the back of your card. And I'm going to give you 2 minutes to identify values you have that you want to stay aware of when you take a hit. So what are some of the values you have as a person that when you take a hit, you want to remind yourself of? And what actions would you like to take to stay above the line? So what can you do to stay above the line? 2 minutes.
You know my name.
One minute. Looks like everyone is done. Alright, so identify values you have that you want to stay aware of when you take a hit. So what are some values you have as an adult, growing up? My mom taught me this.
I'm an empathetic, caring person, and not everybody is that way. So when they try to drag you below the line, you have to remind yourself, wait, I'm not that person. I'm the opposite.
Excellent, thank you.
I guess I can be a self-motivator because I don't like to fail. So if I feel like, my students are failing, I get motivated and I ask myself, okay, what can I do to get them where they need to be?
Okay.
And so I motivate myself.
Okay, so being self-motivated. Yes.
I identified as being a multitasker, busybody. So essentially when sometimes you are let down by maybe someone else's shortcomings, just do it yourself.
Okay. Yes.
I value determination. So, yeah, so even sometimes when I get very frustrated and I want to give up, there's that little thing that still makes me go on. That's when I was still.
That's good to know what you guys value and what you stand for and what you believe in, because sometimes we do need that self-motivation to keep us going and know what you're here for. So what actions would you like to take to stay above the line? What can you do to stay above the line?
Try to stay positive, try to be positive and proactive, and don't be afraid to share with your peers what you think your weakness is and ask them for help or suggestions.
Okay. Yes.
I put patience. That's it, one word, patience.
That's very important
Yeah,
to have.
that's a good one. I wrote that too.
Yeah.
I put, yeah, I think you truly, really are.
Don't take it personal, let it roll off your shoulder.
Don't
Yeah, I
take
think
it
you
personal,
truly,
let it
really
roll
are.
off your shoulder.
Be self-reflective.
Find balance
Find balance.
between, homework, exercise, your mental health, all that, whatever it takes. Exercise, food right.
And that's important to know what your limits are and know that I can't do it. I can't do it all. I'm not the perfect teacher, but I'm going to strive to do my best. And being self-reflective. I know with myself, sometimes I react immediately, and then when I go back and think about it, I'm like, well, I didn't have to say that, or it's not that serious, or I could have done something different, or I can help, I can do this. So being self-reflective and just knowing how you can change the situation, because we're all going to make mistakes, we're all going to be pushed to that point or that limit, but that's not the end of things. We have to just reflect and say, what can I do better? Or how can I make this situation better? And if I begin to change myself, then everything around will change. So, top 20 teachers, they're aware of what's going on in the classroom, and they have the ability to look in the mirror and see the power they have to make choices that create a positive difference for everyone involved. So I want you guys to just take with you that the power, you have all the power to control what happens around you, or to begin to make things positive around you. And
thank you.